Hello, Colony. Hi. So today, for our first session today, I will be back. We're going to be doing a bit of live gaming later, but today for our first session, we're going to be talking about a new topic that I have not heard of. So I really wanted to get on top of this today. Because it's extremely important. It's an extremely huge turn of the tide as far as pushing the limits of what has been, what's the best word, accepted was is the safest thing I could say. Pushing the limit as to what has been accepted. Once you start shooting people and imposing deadly force, I feel like at that point somebody needs to call the police. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna look into this. We're gonna deep dive. We're gonna see, is this true at all? It could be fake. Could be somebody trying to spread some crazy narrative, and it could have been rubber bullets. You know, well, let's find out. Let's see what's going on. I do have a spiel. Oh my god, I have a spiel. I forgot to say the spiel. Next time, I'm going to pull out the spiel and write it down so that I can say it properly. Because I have a spiel that I wrote for the beginning of my Let's Talk About It segments. And I forgot. Sorry about that. But here we go. Anyway.
Shooting at people in broad daylight now. They're giving up on the illusion of being bound by the rules of law enforcement.
The phone, I accidentally pushed the wrong button.
In case you missed it, ICE agents are just shooting at people in broad daylight now. They're giving up on the illusion of being bound by the rules of law enforcement and have just anointed themselves judge, jury, and even executioner. In San Bernardino, ICE agents stopped a family and refused to identify themselves. Shortly thereafter, they smashed in the windows of the car. Reasonably fearing for his life and the safety of his family members in the car, the driver proceeded to drive away. Video footage then shows ICE agents firing at people inside the vehicle. ICE knows what they are doing is so far beyond the pale of what's legal because they tried to cover it up. When they were first questioned, they said they didn't actually shoot at the vehicle at all, and the sounds that the driver thought were gunshots were actually just him knocking on the car door. That might make sense if there weren't 3 bullet holes in the car door. When confronted with that evidence, they suddenly changed the story and said they actually fired at the vehicle because the driver was trying to run agents down. That would also make sense, except this whole incident is on video, and you can clearly see that they're not trying to run anybody down. They're trying to escape with their lives. This is an agency that is so out of control, they think they have the right to execute people in broad daylight.
All right. So I just saw they're reporting now. She didn't move her head out of the way, so I can't see the date that this was published. I really wanted her to like do one of those little quick, like real quick, like so you can see the whole thing. But we're gonna discover what we could discover from the information that I collected from this little video here. So she said it happened in San Bernardino. There were actual freaking bullets in the door, which is something I want to follow up on. And then she says there's a video available for this. So first things first. Let's go to, I think the one that we had the most success on. For our Let's Talk About It segments, I'm going to be using 3 generators. We'll go over this at the beginning of every video in the beginning just until we get used to this segment now. I have 3 generators. We have ChatGPT, we have Perplexity, and we have Grok. All of them have been subscribed to, so that way we can get the fastest, the most accurate information connected to everything that we can get our hands on. And I want to use 3 different generators simply because I don't want to be one-sided. I don't want there ever to be an argument of biased or, oh, that can't be right. No, we're going to cover all bases here, okay? So I think the one that we've had the most success with graphs on, though, is ChatGPT. Let me ask if it can pull video. Perfect. He can find a link though. Okay. Okay. Says here are a few public clips. All right. This is from showing the incident involving the federal immigration agents firing at a vehicle in San Bernardino. So we're going to watch a few of these videos. Let's see. This looks more like a news one, so we're going to go down here. This looks more like actually what we can see.
Thank you. New at 5, questions remain regarding a traffic stop and shooting involving federal agents in San Bernardino. The Department of Homeland Security now calling it a targeted enforcement operation and blames San Bernardino police for releasing the driver accused of assaulting 2 agents with his truck. NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi live for us in San Bernardino with the latest on both sides here today. Camilla?
Hi, Michael. I have reached out to the Department of Homeland Security today, and I'm still waiting to hear back. Right now, it is still unclear why the driver was initially targeted, and a statement from San Bernardino, from the San Bernardino Police Department says that they were called in by federal officials to assist with crowd control at the driver's home following that traffic stop. An immigration enforcement encounter in San Bernardino over the weekend coming to an end in what federal officials say was gunfire. In this cell phone video obtained by NBC4, you can see masked Customs and Border Protection agents surrounding this truck near Acacia and Baseline Street in San Bernardino. A family inside. The driver, his son, and son-in-law.
What do you want? What do you want? No identification.
At one point, you can see agents shattering 2 windows before the driver hits the gas and takes off.
Hey, you can't do that.
A DHS spokesperson says the driver struck 2 of the officers with his truck and that a CBP officer fired in self-defense. The driver, who only identified himself as Francisco, telling NBC4 he drove home after the encounter and called San Bernardino police. It was later that both federal officials and police showed up at Francisco's home in San Bernardino. According to a statement from the San Bernardino Police Department on Saturday, they were there at Francisco's home for crowd control, and that under the California Values Act, local law enforcement may assist federal officials when there is a public safety risk. The statement goes on to say, in this case, federal agents requested assistance during a lawful arrest for assaulting a federal officer when a crowd created a potential officer safety concern. This was not an immigration-related arrest. According to San Bernardino police Sunday, no one was arrested or detained.
Wait.
Federal officials share.
Stop. What the fuck she just say?
Bernardino Police Department on Saturday, they were there at Francisco's home for crowd control, and that under the California Values Act, local law enforcement may assist federal officials when there is a public safety risk. The statement goes on to say, in this case, federal agents requested assistance during a lawful arrest for assaulting a federal officer when a crowd created a potential officer safety concern. This was not an immigration-related arrest. According to San Bernardino police Sunday.
What's that called? The poisonous fruit. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like a... Oh, that's my dryer. My washing machine, my dryer. It's like a law where if you are, going in somebody's house for a specific thing, you can't go in there and look for evidence of something else. That makes any sense? And then everything that touches after you find that illegal evidence, right? So you found something illegally and you submit it into evidence. It's like the Poisonous Fruit Act or some shit like that. Like everything after that, everything that you found subsequently because you found that is poisoned because of the fact that you found this first thing illegally. So to say, oh, this arrest had nothing to do with immigration, the fuck it didn't, because they originally started the whole process because they were trying to take them and detain them because of immigration. The whole thing started, you went to these people's house, broke their window, doing illegal shit in the first place because of immigration.
No one was arrested or detained. Federal officials sharing a different response. A statement Sunday from a DHS spokesperson reads in part that the San Bernardino Police Department located the suspect at a residence and briefly had him in custody, only to release him. The subject remains at large. This reckless decision came despite the subject's outright refusal to comply and his wounding of 2 federal officers. NBC4 has asked numerous times why the driver was initially targeted, and on the specifics of the officers injured, DHS has not commented. Immigration attorney Gustavo Mora, who is not representing the family, weighing in.
You have to separate the immigration investigation aspect from the crowd control issue, because they did not want the federal agents or the individuals protesting the agents from becoming too violent and causing even more problems in the community.
According to a San Bernardino City Council report from June, under the California Values Act, the city is restricted from investigating, interrogating, or arresting individuals solely for immigration enforcement purposes. The report goes on to say that there is an exception in cases involving violent or serious felons. Again, it is still unclear why the driver was initially targeted here over the weekend. I did reach back out to the San Bernardino Police Department today and the city for more information on policies when it comes to immigration enforcement, and they are not commenting further. We're live in San Bernardino. Camilla Rambaldi, NBC 4 News.
I'm asking if it's the first reported incident like this, like with the shooting, because we learned about this one. Also, I need to learn about that guy. They let him go, so obviously he was an American citizen. Nobody said anything about that. We're going to do a little bit more deep dive into that. You're asking rather the 2025 San Bernardino shooting involving federal immigration ICE agents, or rather CBP under DHS, or rather CBP under DHS. What the fuck is that? CBP stands for U.S. Customs and Border Protection under the Department of Homeland Security. It is the largest federal law enforcement agency within DHS, responsible for protecting the United States borders and facilities, lawful intention trade, and travel, while preventing illegal entry, terrorism. Sorry, my eyes itching. It's throwing me off. Terrorism and trafficking of people and contraband. Are these people ICE? Are these people ICE? Because I thought, is that ICE? Why did they say it like that? Why did they say ICE, or rather? Like, I thought ICE was its own entity. Has ICE been the CBB under DHS this whole time? No, CBP, or Customs and Border Protection officers, are not ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. While both agencies are part of the Department of Homeland Security, they have distinct roles. Key differences: CBP is responsible for enforcing customs, immigration, and agricultural laws in near U.S. borders and ports of entry, including airports and land crossings. So why were they in San Bernardino? Did Trump deport or send out troops from these people too? I thought it was just the National Guard. What is happening? Oh. ICE focuses on enforcing immigration laws within the interior of the United States, conducting investigations, detentions, arrests, and deportations after individuals have already entered the country. So why was the Border Patrol in San Bernardino? CBP, right? San Bernard. because they're supposed to be on the borders. I'm confused. CBP was in San Bernardino conducting a targeted immigration enforcement operation. But that arrest had nothing to do with immigration, though. Specifically, an arrest attempt on an individual alleged to have assaulted federal officers during an encounter. During this operation, pause. Hold on. I got a question. During this operation, a confrontation occurred. CBP agents approached a vehicle, attempted to engage with its occupants, and the situation escalated, resulting in a vehicle driving toward officers, the breaking of car windows, and shots fired by the CBP officer in what DHS claimed was self-defense. Although CBP is most often associated with border security, the agency has authority to conduct operations within 100 miles of any U.S. land or sea borders. The 100-mile rule, which includes the entire San Bernardino area. Okay. In this case, the operation was an enforcement action related to alleged crimes involving a federal officer, not a typical border inspection. Yeah, but they keep talking about involving criminals against a criminal officer, but nobody knows why they originally stopped these people. I knew I was gonna fuck it up. Yeah. Bernardino. Y'all gonna get me. Bernardino. I spelled it right? Yeah. Just capital B. Was the gentleman that was harassed in San Bernardino and shot at an American citizen? He had to be. I'm just confirming. It only makes sense that he was. If he was an immigrant, they would have fucking detained his ass. But I know my common sense, but I like to confirm. No, the gentleman who was targeted by CBP. See, this is what I confirmed. No, the gentleman who was targeted by the CBP in San Bernardino and shot at was not an American citizen. According to community advocates and reporting, he is a 43-year-old man from Mexico who has lived in the United States for 23 years but does not have legal status. However, his 18-year-old son, who I think was the other gentleman in the car with him, that's my assumption because I saw a younger gentleman, son and 23-year-old son, we don't know, son-in-law, who were present in the vehicle during the incident. I only saw one person. Must have been in the back. Maybe. Was it the camera angle?
Hey, you can't do that.
Tonight at 6, new questions over the confrontation captured on camera when masked federal agents opened fire after stopping a car in San Bernardino. Customs.
Okay. Got confirmation. Third person. We saw the third person's POV. We saw it. Okay. Relevant details. The man's name has not been made public. The federal authorities have not confirmed his identity or citizenship status officially. Then how do you know? That don't make sense. Something's wrong. You trying to tell me they rounding up all of these Hispanic people, all of these innocent people that don't deserve this kind of treatment, and this man who they made the biggest fuss about shot at this guy. They're going to tell me you were able to detain him because they did confirm that they had him detained and arrested. He was an illegal immigrant. You've already shot at this man and tried to kill him. And even though he's an illegal, you're going to let him go home? Even though you're rounding up hundreds of people because they're illegal immigrants? That don't make sense. Something's wrong. Something don't sound right. So why was he allowed to go free instead of going to a detention center was my question. The man targeted in the San Bernardino was released instead of being sent to a detention center because, after the incident, local law enforcement located and briefly held him but released him due to the California laws prohibiting local police from assisting federal officials in immigration enforcement. Unless there is a specific state criminal charge, federal agents do not have a warrant to enter his home or to take him into custody from the local police. After the CBP incident, the man was found at his residence and briefly in custody of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, but released because state law bars local cooperation with federal immigration detainers when no state crime is being prosecuted. Federal agents waited outside his home but could not enter without a warrant, and the family did not allow entry. California's sanctuary laws protect immigrants by restricting the involvement of local law enforcement in federal immigration enforcement. California's sanctuary laws. Sanctuary laws. California sanctuary laws refers to a set of policies and legislation designed to limit cooperation between state and local authorities. To limit cooperation between state and local authorities and federal immigration enforcement, particularly the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. These laws aim to protect undocumented immigrants by restricting how local resources are used to assist federal immigration efforts. Below is a concise overview of the key laws based on available information. Is California the only one doing this? Is my wonder. Yes, several states in the U.S. have enacted laws or policies that limit cooperation between local authorities and federal immigration enforcement, often referred to as sanctuary laws or policies. While California's sanctuary laws, e.g. SB 54 and California Values Act, are among the most comprehensive, other states have adopted similar measures to varying degrees. These policies typically aim to restrict local law enforcement from assisting the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, in detaining or deporting the undocumented immigrants, particularly for non-criminal matters. Below is a concise overview of states with notable sanctuary laws or policies as of my last update, reflecting the general landscape. So, states with sanctuary laws or policies. So we have New York, Illinois, interesting, Oregon, Washington, hold on, why don't you just pull up a damn map? Maybe I should just be more specific off the top of my top. Off the tippity top. Let's see. It's not very good, huh? I can't see. Here we go. That's better. So what did they say? Washington, Oregon, Idaho, literally all over to the west here. What else did they say? New York. New York is east, though, no? New York is all the way over here. New York. Wow, so many states. I hope there's more. Washington. That's west. Or where is that? Oh yeah. Of course. New Jersey. New Jersey. Where's New Jersey? Here it is. Oh, okay. What is going on with the corners? Why is it lit? What about the middle part? Like, can we get some? Can y'all get some fucking representation? Massachusetts. Massachusetts. I don't even think I've ever looked for Massachusetts in my life. Minnesota, Massachusetts. Low-key thought Massachusetts was a city. Didn't know it was a state. Oops. I probably should have kept that thought to myself. I talk too much. Where is it? Is that it? Massachusetts? Goodness. What the hell? That is it. Massachusetts right here. It's so tiny. And once again, we are on the edge, guys. We've been here. We're all up in here. And we're all up in here. I think we've had Ohio, or was it Idaho? Was it Ohio or Idaho? Idaho. Illinois, New York, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Colorado. It was neither. I just made up some shit in my head. New York, Illinois. It must be Illinois that I'm thinking about. Illinois. Illinois represent. Where you at? Illinois. Yeah. This must be Illinois. Illinois. Okay, so we got one in the middle. Most of them are over here. Like New York is Massachusetts is over here. We got Oregon, Washington, California. We know that's how we started. We got this here. So we're here on the west. Then we're here on the east. A little bit in here. Then we got Illinois in the middle. Oregon, Washington, New Jersey. That's not surprising. New Jersey is sound like they'll represent. Sound like they'll defend themselves. New Jersey. New Jersey. It was so tiny. New Jersey. See, we're still on this edge right here. That's the crazy thing. Massachusetts. We just saw that one right over here, y'all. Colorado and Connecticut. Oh my God, are we out? That's all of them? No, that's not enough. Colorado and Connecticut. Colorado. Okay, we got a middle. In Connecticut. Over here, this little tiny block. So we got a lot of here. We got New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, all of these right here in this area. We got Illinois. I swear I keep thinking Ohio, but I don't think so. It's Illinois and it's Colorado. Illinois, Colorado, and then all the states on the west, Oregon, Washington, California, and I really want to say Idaho, but I don't think that's true. Idaho. I just think Idaho is funny, okay? I'm childish. Sorry. It's fucking hilarious. Every time I say it, I think Idaho. 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 Okay, it's just funny to me. No, Idaho is not in here. So we only have 8. Think about the fact that we are having all of these immigration issues. The world is not dumb. We have literal countries leaders turning their backs on us because of the way that we're treating our immigrants. The world knows that what the Trump administration is doing is wrong. Okay? So I don't understand why out of 50 states this far in, Hold on. Maybe there's a reason. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Maybe it takes years. Let's find out. The time required to enact a state sanctuary law in a state without such policies depends on several factors, including the state's legislative process, political climate, public support, and potential legal or administrative hurdles. Below is a detailed breakdown of the process and an estimated timeline, drawing a general knowledge of state legislative procedures and insights from how existing sanctuary laws, e.g. California SB 54, Oregon's 1985 sanctuary law, were enacted. Since specific data on the exact duration of legislative processes for sanctuary laws is limited, I'll provide a reasoned estimate based on typical state legislative timelines and relative context from the provided web results. Okay. Key factors affecting timeline: legislative process, political climate, public stakeholder support. Public and stakeholder support. This one is a big one. Legal challenges, legislative session schedule, typical legislative process and timeline, billing, drafting, and introduction, 1 to 3 months. 2. Committee review, 2 to 6 months. 3. Floor votes in both chambers, 1 to 3 months. And these are all combined. So first process is 1 to 3 months. It takes 3. So we're gonna take the longest of each of these, right? So it's only been 6 months. So in order for them to get this passed, it'll take longer than that, which is, I have hope, because we're gonna ask another question that's gonna be pretty pertinent. That's gonna either make or break my fucking hopes in humanity after this. Okay, so we have 3 months, 6 months, 6, 7, 8, 9 months so far. Then another 3 months, 9, 10, 11, 12 months. So that's a year. To get it to floor votes in booth chambers, it's going to take up to a year, I think, from the process. So let's see. Estimated total timeline. Best case. In the best case scenario, favorable conditions. And we all know life just don't be working like that. In a state with a Democratic leading legislator, a supportive governor, and strong public backing, the process could take 6 to 12 months. That's what I said. From drafting to effective date, for example. I don't need an example where I just need the estimated time. Okay. Average case, 12 to 18 months. Worst case, 2 years. Real world examples. Variables that could affect timing, challenges in states without sanctuary laws, Republican-led states. Why? Oh, don't even get me started. Ooh, I was about to go off on a tangent. Okay. Legal preemption concerns, local resistance, hypothetical scenario for a state without sanctuary laws. Don't need it. Conclusion. Forgot to see. I don't even know if I want to ask this question. Honestly, I feel like after I finished typing it, I had a wave of bad feeling come over me. I had a wave of bad feeling. And my bad feelings are never wrong. I'm hoping for like 12. I'm hoping for like 20. We have 50 states We have 50 states, guys. We have 8 states that have the sanctuary laws, right? Every single state has saw what Trump is doing, okay? I have a hope that it's going to be like 12 states in the process. I haven't looked. 12 states, 12, 13, 14 states in the process right now of getting those sanctuary laws in place so they can protect their citizens, because immigrants are citizens. They pay taxes. They fucking help the cities that they're living in. They're just general, nice, normal fucking people that's trying to make a living. So the states have to be representing to protect their citizens. Right? Are you reading it? I'm not looking at it. I'm really so scared to look. As of August 25, 2025, I'm so scared to read this. I've never been so scared to read something in my life because I really need some help. I need some hope in humanity. I need to grasp onto hope. There is no defective evidence from the provided web results or general knowledge that any U.S. state is actively in the process of drafting, introducing, or passing new sanctuary laws. Legislation to limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement during this current legislative session. Most states with existing sanctuary laws like California, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, and New Jersey already have established frameworks, and recent discussions focus more on defending these policies against federal challenges or state level anti-sanctuary efforts rather than new legislative initiatives. However, I can provide an analysis based on available context, including the political climate and indirect indicators from the web results, to address whether any states might be considering such laws. And while the landscape leans against new sanctuary legislation, so disappointed. I am so disappointed in you, America. I'm so disappointed. Not one, not even a whisper. Okay, that's terrible. Okay. What was his name? They didn't say his name, huh? Based on the latest available information, federal agents, including ICE and CBP, were still attempting to locate and arrest the San Bernardino man after the initial incident, but there is no confirmation that he is currently under active pursuit of being harassed at his home. He is. They're trying to find him. Hold on. Wait a motherfucking minute. Or rather, according to the official statements, it was U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, not ICE, that carried out the stop. Multiple news outlets clarify this. The Associated Press reported that the vehicle stop was conducted by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents during a targeted enforcement operation. The driver allegedly struck two CBP agents. And we did not see ICE in those videos, right? I'm gonna go back just to verify. Hold on. I forgot which engine I was using. Hold on. No, I was using this one, right? Yeah.
And immigration enforcement with crowd control at the driver's home following that traffic stop. An immigration enforcement encounter in San Bernardino over the weekend coming to an end in what federal officials say was gunfire. In this cell phone video obtained by NBC4, you can see masked Customs and Border Protection agents surrounding
Customs and Borders Protection agents
this truck near Acacia and Baseline Street in San Bernardino. A family inside, the driver, his son, and son-in-law.
What do you want?
Just to verify. Fucking knew it. ICE agents, especially those from its enforcement and removal operations, or ERO, another fucking term. Enforcement and removal operations. Why do they have so many of these? In Homeland Security Investigations divisions, often wear gear that primarily says police in large letters. Why do they do this? Who fucking cares? Excuse me. I'm starting to get chafed. I'm really starting to get chafed. Critics argue that wearing police without also clearly dispatching ICE can mislead the public. That's why I'm questioning whether these guys are really CBP. Honestly, I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe it. I believe these are motherfucking ICE agents. Playing dress up, being fucking horrific human beings. So they're saying that the CBP, go back to all my shit. Oh shit. Here it is. So I'm looking up how often they do use deadly force, because it seems the timing seems weird. It feels janky, right? So it says the CBP use of force reporting. CBP publishes data. I gotta pick up the kids at 3:15. CBP publishes data on assaults and uses of force on its official site. However, these reports don't typically break out incidents involving deadly force specifically. They cover all categories of use of force combined. You can download raw data from this source. Significant use of force findings. The Washington Office of Latina American, or the WOLA, reported that in 2020, the CBP's National Use of Force Review Board reviewed 8 significant use of force incidents, clearing them all. In 2021, 7 such cases were reviewed. 5 were within policy, 2 were out of policy, and 1 was still pending management action. These numbers offer a particular glimpse but do not represent the total number of deadly force incidents. Rather, they're the highest profile or most serious cases reviewed. GOA notes on underreporting. The Government Accountability Officer found that the CBP undercounts its use of force. A single incident may involve multiple officers and multiple subjects, yet the CBP might report it just as one incident. Between FY 2021 to 2022, CBP recorded over 1,700 use of force incidents, some involving many officers and multiple individuals. These suggest that actual instances, especially of deadly force, may be underreported or aggregated in ways that obscure frequency. Everybody's a little fucking fishy. Can't trust the government for shit. Let's see. The ACLU's Texas office tracked fatal encounters involving the CBP over the period covered. They recorded 76 total uses of firearms, 342 total deaths. You know what I don't think is talked about enough? Like population in general. Like, just seeing that number, 342 total deaths. And this is just one entity. How are thousands of people dying every day, but we're still so populated? That's my question. Like, hold on, let's finish this real quick, because my mind is going all over the place now. 342 total deaths in encounters with immigration enforcement, including 115 deaths tied to vehicle pursuits. Okay, so they are violent. It's 6 deaths specifically from cross-border shootings. Okay. So they're saying that ICE isn't the one that shot. It was CBP, which is Border Patrol, Customs and Border Patrol, that shot. Just to cover my bases. And also, just so we're clear, we have discovered that our original video is not accurate. By the by, our original video, she claimed ICE is, that's what she said, right? I'm gonna verify and replay it again. It's not that super duper long. I'm gonna replay it just to make sure she said ICE and not CBP. Maybe she did say CBP, and maybe she did say like Border Patrol or something. Now, the caption, oh fuck. No, she didn't. The caption says, ICE agents caught using deadly force in broad daylight. We just confirmed that's not true. We just confirmed, according to the news. I'm not saying that the news don't lie. I'm not saying that. And we did also confirm that ICE uses police on their uniforms. But according to reports it was the CBP, which is the Customs and Border Patrol, not ICE, two different entities that did the shooting. We're going to verify.
In case you missed it, ICE agents are just shooting at people in broad daylight.
Okay. She did say it. ICE agents are just shooting at people in broad daylight, which is not accurate according to what they are reporting and according to what the news is reporting, which I would say take with a little fucking grain of salt because the motherfuckers be lying. And they might also be wanting to cover it up and say that it was the CBP agents and not ICE, because if it is ICE, they are probably going to be more susceptible to an uprising if ICE starts shooting people. But let's find out if there's been any changes in deadly force as far as what is accepted for detaining immigrants. Did I already ask? Hold on, let me see if I asked. I did not. Okay. I don't think so. Okay. So my question is going to be, has there been any changes to the process of detaining immigrants, i.e. allowing guns, rubber bullets, rope, I don't fucking know, chains, whips, etc. All of it. I need to know it all, honey. What can they use? Can they just use a baton? You know? Can they just be using motherfucking hands? Scrap it. What's up? Like, what are they allowed to do? No, hold on. Stop. Has there been any changes in the process of detaining immigrants by ICE? Let's try that again. Where there have been any changes in ICE process for detaining immigrants, particularly regarding the use of equipment like guns, rubber bullets, ropes, chains, and whips. Here is what the most recent information reveals. Uniformed use of force and restraints. In 2025, national detention standards strictly limit the types of force restraints permitted by ICE facility staff. That's good. That's good. Only approved use of force tools aligned with agency policy, procedure, and training are allowed. Specifically prohibited are canines for control of like the dog, for control or intimidation. You can't use a dog, but you can use an alligator. You prohibit dogs, which is an animal that has been proven to be well trained and able to carry forth the capture of other people, because the scent, they can smell a person, they can smell drugs, they can smell, a dead body. They can be trained. If you tell them sick them, they sick. If you tell them heal, they heal. Like, that's normal, right? According to things that I'm used to. I ain't never in my fucking life seen somebody tell an alligator to heal and the fucking alligator listened like a dog. You ever see somebody say, sick 'em, boy, and they're talking to a goddamn gator? And the gator on his little tiny legs just start going? I'm gonna lose my mind. Chokeholds. batons applied to the neck and other neck restraints. There is no provision allowing non-lethal weapons like rubber bullets, ropes, chains, whips, or similar tools. ICE is bound to use only agency-approved methods and equipment within a structured policy framework. Current tactical gear and training updates. The Associated Press reports that ICE is ramping up its special response teams, or SWAT-style units, for high-risk operations. New recruits now receive gas masks, helmets. Why would you need a gas mask? Helmets, security team support for arrest. Security team support for arrest. What the fuck does that mean? These updates point to enhancements in protective and operational gear, not equipment intended for detainee control like rubber bullets and whips. Broad changes in detention policy and enforcement scope. ICE has rolled back previous restrictions on arrest. Location agents can now arrest individuals in places formerly considered off limits. No, please say no. Please tell me no. Please. Schools, hospitals, places of worship, courts, funerals, and weddings. All places that should be off limits. The Lake Riley Act, signed in January 2025, the what? We're going to come back to that. Mandates detention without bond for undocumented individuals charged, not convicted, with offenses such as theft, burglary, assault on officers, or crimes causing serious injury or death. Reports also note significant escalation in enforcement operations, including mass arrest campaigns under Operation Safeguard. However, these are operational and policy expansions, not changes related to harmful equipment. Yeah. So they can't say it was ICE. Because the moment that ICE gets a motherfucking gun, they're going to be going against the law. But the thing is, I'm reading a lot of different things. Just like last time, in our last Let's Talk About It, how I was very surprised about how those Democrats were signing away that paper that was illegal. What they were doing was illegal. And if they wanted to, if they had balls, like Nicole... I'm pretty sure my memory is trash, but that's her first name. I'm sure that's her first name. But we all know who I'm talking about. Collier. They would have been like, no, this is not right. And even she, in that moment, why did nobody call? Do people not? I thought once you get up in like in a certain area, like you get so high in a ladder, I thought you just have a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see, like, if a person is so important, I would assume that a governor of some sort, if I'm a governor of a major city or something, any public figure, a celebrity, a chef, a famous chef, like Gordon Ramsay, anybody of a certain status, like once you get so popular and so, like, once your job is so high, I thought you just get a lawyer. You just have one. You just in your city, you just like, hey guy, you're my lawyer just in case some shit go off. Like, you don't have to have them for anything in particular, but just in case there's any ramifications that I need advice on, I'm gonna have you on call. I have you in my phone. Once I call you, the services can get paid for whichever way you want, just on call, on retainer. Now, one motherfucker looked at this piece of paper and was like, hey, Bob, is it possible for them to, like, nobody, not one soul? have seen multiple videos of ICE putting people in chokeholds. Nobody's talking about it. Why is ICE able to go into places of worship? Why are they allowing them into schools? How are these things happening? Nobody's talking about it. What is this act? The Lake Riley Act, signed into law in January 2025, is a federal statute requiring the mandatory detention without bail of certain non-citizens arrested, charged with, convicted of, or admitting to crimes like burglary, theft, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, or crimes causing death or serious injury, even if those charges are later dropped. Is this how they're trying to justify arresting all these immigrants without due process? I gotta keep an eye on the clock. I'm probably gonna be leaving in a few minutes. We're gonna have to wrap this up. I gotta get the kiddos at 3:15. I can't be late. I'm already be behind the line. But they already in the line right now as we speak, baby. When I get there at 3:15, they're gonna be already stacked. I can't be late going to get my kiddos from school. They're gonna be calling me like, excuse me, are you sending somebody to pick up? Like, oh, yes. Is there a justification? So my question is this the justification for arresting immigrants without due process? Because we all know when you get arrested in America, your due process here. You're supposed to say, hey, these are my rights. This is why I'm getting arrested. You're going to hold me. You're going to make sure I did all the things that I was supposed to do. And then you're going to send me off and you know, arrest me and punish me for my crime, whatever crime it was. That's how it's supposed to run. So, is this justification for arresting immigrants without due process, or, because I left myself open, because I'm always open to everything, or is there another rule or law in effect that I'm unaware of? Because it's possible there's 1,000 rules and laws in effect that I don't know anything about. I'm not a lawyer. The Lakeland-Riley Act is now a key foundation for mandatory detention of immigrants, often without bond or judicial hearing. Is now a key foundation, but doesn't mean it's the only one. So let's keep going. After arrest or occasion for a broad array of crimes, after arrest or occasion for a broad array of crimes, even before conviction. However, it is not the only legal mechanism at play. The Trump administration's new directives and ICE's involving interpretation of older law have further limited immigrants' ability to obtain bond or release, expanding the scope of detention far beyond only those addressed by the act. Legal justifications in use. Lake Riley Act, which we know can only be used on people that's breaking the law actively, because Lake Riley, the reason why I feel like this is not a proper justification is because of the details in the act. If you go back and you read what the act is, was signed into law, and it is a federal statute requiring the mandatory detention without bail of certain non-citizens, because words fucking matter, of certain non-citizens arrested, charged with, or convicted of one of these things, or they just flat out admit it, right? Of two crimes. So if you see an illegal immigrant who is just outside of the barbecue, for example, they outside at their family barbecue, you know, they got corn on the grill, they got music, they dancing, they doing their thing, they're not doing anything. Even if they are illegal, they haven't committed a burglary, a theft, any larceny. They're not shoplifting. They're not assaulting a police officer. They're not doing any crimes, death, or serious injury. They're not causing any serious injury. Then they are, hey, you know, they're chilling. So I need to see more, because you can't use this. Now, if the illegal immigrant was caught in the act of breaking into a neighborhood store, for example, they don't do that. They don't do that shit. But this is just an example. Ain't nobody trying to bring heat to themselves when they're in a situation where they're not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? If you look up the statistics of illegal immigrants, they're the chillest fucking people for a reason. I digress. That could be a whole nother video. Fuck. I gotta go. Well, almost. I got a couple minutes. Really quickly, just to tie this off, because this is insane. Because somebody lying. I smell somebody lying. Honey. I don't see no fire, honey. What a damn thing get I lost myself. So we already know, like Riley, we talked about it. Administration policy changes. In July of 2025, ICE issued new guidance treating nearly all undocumented immigrants and many long-term residents as arriving aliens, meaning they are ineligible for bond entirely, even if not subject to the Lake Riley Act. Even long-term residents as arriving aliens, meaning they are ineligible for a bond, which is like the payment to be released, entirely, even if not subject to Lake Riley Act. Okay, so that's after arrest. I'm talking about what is the justification, okay, without bond, but that's not process either. Bond is money. So the first two things that we went over, the first one, you have to be a criminal, and they're arresting people that are not criminals and they're not doing anything illegal. And the second one is about bond. It's about money. It's about how to get out after the arrest. But I'm talking about the justification for the arrest in the first place. Historical statutory authority. Provisions of the Immigration and National Act, particularly 236C, which already mandated detention of those in certain criminal records, have been broadened by police and now by Lake Riley Act. Which already mandated detention for those with certain criminal records. Once again, we're going to move to the next one. Due process, which is this whole thing. Due process debate. The U.S. Constitution's 5th and 14th Amendment guarantee due process for all persons, not just citizens, but the current statutory and policy framework is being interpreted to allow for detention without individual bond hearing. A move decreed. I've never seen decreed spelled out. Is that decreed? It looked like decried to me, but I'm going to say decreed because that's the only thing that makes sense. I thought decreed would have been D-E-C-R-E-E-D, decreed. That's how I thought you would have spelled it. Is that decried? That gotta be decreed. A move decreed by legal advocates. A move decried. What the fuck does this mean? How do you say that? Decreed? Decried? Decreed? It gotta be decreed. How do you spell decreed? What the hell is that? Hold on. Publicly denounce or condemn. Decreed. Yeah, it's decreed. Is that decreed? Hold on.
Decry.
Decry? Shut up. Is it? Oh my God. Decried. It is decried. Publicly denounce or condemn. Publicly denounce. I lost myself. I lost where it was. A move decried by legal advocates as violating fundamental rights. Is decreed did I spell it right? Don't say I'm not smart. I'm so happy. The first time I spelled something right. Oh no, I'm actually pretty good at spelling now that I think about it. I never really thought about it, I guess. Decried. Wow, I learned a new word. Decried. How does that make sense in the sentence though? Decried. A move decried. Publicly denounce or condemn. Oh, condemn, denounce, like they're ashamed of it, like they don't like it. It's publicly, like, you know. Denounce or condemn, like, no, this is bad. Like, publicly, people ain't for it. And it says, a move decried by legal advocates as violating fundamental rights. That makes sense. But you see what I'm saying? This whole thing that they're doing, we're going to do some more research into this at a later date. But from the research that we just discovered, of course, I already talked about the fact that our first video is not 100% accurate. That incident did happen, but it was not ICE. It was the CBP or the Border Patrol. Is it Central Border Patrol? I want to say something like that. It's Border Patrol, though. CBP. The Border Patrol people were the ones who shot at that gentleman, not ICE. And according to our research, ICE does not have actual deadly violent force. They can't even, technically shouldn't even, I've seen them do it, put people in a chokehold. They can't even chokehold you. They can't use dogs. They can't chokehold you. They can't use batons. All they can do is use this right here. Okay? This right here, and probably some zip ties or handcuffs or whatever they use. Technically, they shouldn't even be able to arrest you. They said they can't use chains. What are they using? Zip ties? You see what I'm saying? A lot of illegal, shifty stuff is going on right now, guys. Be careful, okay? I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Just be careful. And I gotta go get the kids before I'm late. I'm already late. I gotta go. Bye.